The old ship made a terrible sound as it moved through the darkness of space. Yuna Kim hit the control panel with her hand, and the sound stopped for a moment. Then it started again. "Come on," she said to herself. "Just a few more hours. That's all I need." Yuna was 28 years old. She had dark hair that she kept tied back, and tired eyes that had seen too many long nights. Her ship, the Wanderer, was older than she was. It was falling apart piece by piece, but it was all she had. She looked at her scanner screen. The ash nebula spread out before her like a purple and gray cloud. Most pilots avoided this place. The radiation was bad for ships, and there was nothing here except old rocks and dead things. But dead things were exactly what Yuna was looking for. She was a salvage pilot. She found broken ships, took the useful parts, and sold them at stations. It was not a good life, but it was her life. She had been doing this for 6 years, ever since she left Earth with nothing but a bag of clothes and a dream of seeing the stars. The dream had not turned out the way she hoped. Her scanner made a small beeping sound. Yuna sat up straight and looked at the screen. There was something out there. Something big. "What do we have here?" she whispered. She turned her ship toward the signal. The Wanderer groaned in protest, but it moved. Slowly, a shape appeared through the purple clouds of the nebula. Yuna's breath caught in her throat. It was a warship. A real warship, not some small transport or cargo vessel. This ship was massive, at least 10 times bigger than her own. It was black and silver, with a design she had never seen before. Strange symbols were painted on its side. And it was clearly dead. No lights, no power. Just floating in the darkness like a metal corpse. "This is it," Yuna said. Her heart was beating fast. This is the big one. A ship like this could have valuable technology. Weapons, engines, computer systems. If she could salvage even a small part of it, she could pay off her debts. She could fix the Wanderer. She could eat something other than nutrition bars for the first time in months. She brought her ship closer. The warship was old. Very old. There was damage on its surface, burn marks from weapons fire. This ship had been in a battle a long time ago. Yuna found a place to dock. Her ship connected to the warship with a loud clang that made her jump. She put on her environment suit and grabbed her tools. Then she opened the door and stepped into the dead ship. The inside was dark. Her flashlight cut through the blackness. The air was cold and thin. She could hear her own breathing inside her helmet. The ship was strange. The hallways were too tall, built for something bigger than humans. The walls had that same strange writing she had seen outside. She did not recognize the language. "Hello?" she called out. Her voice echoed. No answer came. She walked deeper into the ship. She passed rooms filled with destroyed equipment. She found bodies, too. They were not human. They were tall, with gray skin and 4 arms. They had been dead for a very long time. Yuna did not look at them for too long. She was looking for the engine room. That was where the valuable parts would be. She followed the hallways, using her scanner to guide her. Then her scanner picked up something strange. There was a power source. Something on this ship still had power. Yuna stopped walking. That should not be possible. This ship had been dead for years, maybe centuries. Nothing should still be working. But her scanner did not lie. There was power coming from somewhere below her. She should have left. A smart person would have gone back to their ship and flown away. But Yuna was not smart. She was desperate. And desperate people do stupid things. She found a ladder and climbed down. The power source was getting closer. Her scanner led her to a large door. Unlike the others, this door was closed. There was a small light next to it, glowing red. Yuna touched the control panel. The door made a grinding sound and slowly opened. Inside was a room unlike any other on the ship. It was clean. There was no dust, no damage. In the center of the room was a large metal pod. It was connected to cables and machines that were still working after all this time. Una walked toward the pod. Her heart was pounding. Through a small window in the pod, she could see a face. It was not human. The creature inside was tall, maybe 7 feet. Its skin was dark blue, almost black. It had features that were sharp and hard, like something carved from stone. Its eyes were closed. It looked like it was sleeping. Una had heard stories about creatures like this. Every pilot had. They were called the Valkyrie. They had been the greatest warriors in the galaxy, hundreds of years ago. They had fought in a war that killed billions. They had been feared by every species in every system. And then they had disappeared, died out, gone extinct. Or so everyone thought. Una stood there, staring at the sleeping Valkyrie. She knew she should leave. This creature was dangerous. If even half the stories were true, it could kill her without trying. But the creature was also dying. She could see it now. The lights on the pod were flickering. The power was failing. Whatever had kept this being alive for so long was finally giving up. In a few hours, maybe less, the pod would stop working. And the Valkyrie would die. Una thought about her life. She thought about all the times she had needed help and no one had come. She thought about the loneliness of space, the cold nights, the empty stations where no one looked at her twice. She thought about what it meant to be forgotten. "Damn it," she said. She started working on the pod. She was not a doctor, but she knew machines. She had been fixing broken things her whole life. She connected her ship's power supply to the pod. She replaced the damaged cables. She worked for hours, her hands moving fast. The pod's power stabilized. The lights stopped flickering. Una sat back, exhausted. She had done it. The creature would live. And then the eyes opened. They were gold. Bright, burning gold, like 2 small suns. They looked at her with confusion, then anger, then something else she could not name. The pod began to open. Una stepped back, her hand reaching for the small gun at her belt. She knew it would not help. If this Valkyrie wanted to kill her, she would be dead before she could pull the trigger. The creature sat up. It was huge, bigger than she had realized. Its body was covered in scars. It looked at her with those golden eyes, and she felt like it was seeing everything about her. Every secret, every fear. "What are you?" it said. Its voice was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. It spoke in a language she did not know, but somehow she understood it. The translation device in her suit was working. "I'm a human," Una said. Her voice was shaking. "My name is Una. I found your ship. I saved your life." The creature looked around the room. It saw the cable she had connected, the repairs she had made. It looked at her small gun, still in its holster. It looked at her face, pale with fear. "You saved me," it repeated. It did not sound like a question. "Yes. Why?" Una did not know what to say. She had asked herself the same question. Why risk her life for a stranger? Why help something that could destroy her? "Because you were dying," she said finally. "And I can help." The creature stared at her for a long moment. Then it stood up. It was even bigger than she thought, towering over her like a mountain. She had to bend her neck back just to see its face. "I am Roth," it said. "I am the last of my kind. I have killed more beings than you have ever seen. I have destroyed worlds. I have ended civilizations." Una swallowed hard. "That's a lot. You should be afraid of me." "I am," she admitted. "Very afraid." Roth tilted his head, studying her. And yet you helped me. You did not run. You did not leave me to die. I thought about it, Una said. But I couldn't. It's not who I am. Roth was silent for a long time. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter. Among my people, there is a law. If someone saves your life, you owe them a debt. A life for a life. Until the debt is paid, you serve them. You protect them. You give your life for theirs if needed. Una's eyes widened. Wait, what? You saved my life, Una the human. By the ancient code of my people, I am bound to you. My strength is your strength. My blade is your blade. Until I repay my debt, I am yours. Una stared at him. This could not be happening. She had just wanted to find some spare parts. Now she had a 7-foot alien warrior pledging his life to her. I don't need that, she said. You don't owe me anything. I just did what anyone would do. Roth made a sound. It might have been a laugh. No, they would not. I have lived a long time, little human. I have seen many species. None of them would have done what you did. They would have left me to die. They would have been right to do so. Well, I'm not very smart, Una muttered. No, Roth agreed. You are not. But you are something else. Something I have not seen in a very long time. He looked at her with those golden eyes, and for the first time, there was something soft in them. Something almost like wonder. You are kind, he said. Even when there is no reason to be. Even when it costs you. Even when it might kill you. Una did not know what to say. No one had ever called her kind before. No one had ever called her much of anything. Come, Roth said. Show me your ship. We have much to discuss, and I have been asleep for far too long. He walked toward the door. Una stood there for a moment, trying to understand what had just happened to her life. Then she followed him. She had come to this nebula looking for scrap metal. Instead, she had found the last Valkyrie warrior in the galaxy. The deadliest creature most species had ever known. Roth stood in the middle of the Wanderer and looked around. His golden eyes moved slowly, taking in every detail. The peeling paint, the exposed wires, the patches of rust on the walls. He said nothing. Una stood behind him, suddenly very aware of how small and broken her ship was. She had never felt embarrassed about it before. It was just her home. But now, with this ancient warrior standing in her cramped hallway, she felt like she needed to explain. It's not much, she said. But it works. Most of the time. Roth walked forward. His head almost touched the ceiling. He had to turn sideways to fit through the doorway into the main room. He looked at the control panel, the small bed in the corner, the table covered with tools and empty food containers. You live here, he said. It was not a question. Yes. Alone. Yes. Roth turned to look at her. Why? Una shrugged. It's complicated. I left Earth when I was young. Wanted to see the galaxy. Didn't really work out the way I planned. What did you plan? I don't know. Adventure, I guess. Discovery. Something bigger than the small life I had back home. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. Instead, I got debt. Lots of debt. And a ship that's falling apart. Roth was quiet. He walked to the small window and looked out at the stars. The purple clouds of the Ash Nebula surrounded them. My people believe that the universe tests us, he said. It puts obstacles in our path, challenges, pain, not to break us, but to see what we are made of. Una sat down in her pilot's chair. And what do you think? I think the universe does not care about us at all. We give meaning to our suffering, or we do not. The choice is ours. That's surprisingly deep for a guy who just woke up from a 300-year nap. Roth made that sound again, the one that might have been a laugh. I have had a long time to think, little human. Even in sleep, the mind wanders. He turned back to face her. In the dim light of the ship, he looked even more frightening. His scars caught shadows. His eyes glowed softly. "You saved me," he said. "Tell me about yourself. Who is Yuna Kim? Why does she fly alone through dead nebulas, looking for scraps?" Yuna was not used to talking about herself. She was not used to anyone caring. But something about Roth's voice made her want to answer. "I grew up in a small town in Korea," she said. "On Earth, my parents died when I was 12. Car accident. After that, I lived with my aunt. She was not kind." She paused. Old memories were coming back. Painful ones. "When I was 18, I used all the money I had to buy a ticket off-world. I worked on cargo ships for a few years. Learned how to fix things. Eventually, I saved enough to buy this ship. It was cheap because nobody else wanted it. And your debt?" Yuna sighed. "Medical bills. A few years ago, I got sick. Really sick. Radiation poisoning from a bad job. I couldn't afford the treatment, so I borrowed money. From people you don't want to borrow money from. And now you work to pay them back. I try, but the interest keeps growing. Every month I owe more than the month before. I don't think I'll ever get out from under it." Roth walked toward her. He moved slowly, carefully, like he was afraid of breaking something. He stopped a few feet away and looked down at her. "Show me your arms," he said. "What?" "Your arms." "Show me." Yuna hesitated. Then she rolled up her sleeves. Her arms were thin. Too thin. She had not been eating well. The bones showed through her skin. Roth's jaw tightened. "When did you last eat?" "This morning. I had a nutrition bar. Before that?" Yuna looked away. "Yesterday. Maybe. I don't remember." Roth made a sound. This time, it was definitely not a laugh. It was something darker. Something angry. "You are starving yourself," he said. "While you saved my life. While you shared your ship's power with me. You were dying so that I could live." "I wasn't dying," Yuna protested. "I was just managing." "You were dying," Roth repeated. His voice was hard. Slowly, quietly, like so many others the universe has forgotten. He walked to her small kitchen area. It was just a counter with a heating unit and some storage. He opened the cabinets. Inside were 3 nutrition bars and a half-empty container of water paste. "This is all your food?" "I was going to get more," Yuna said defensively. "After I sold to Salvage." Roth closed the cabinet. He stood there for a moment, his back to her. When he turned around, his golden eyes were burning. "Listen to me, little human. I have killed emperors. I have destroyed fleets. I have watched planets burn. I was the most feared warrior in a galaxy full of warriors. Armies surrendered at the mention of my name." Yuna swallowed hard. "Okay, and now I am here, on a ship held together by hope and rust, with a human who gave me her food while she starved, who gave me her power while her own systems failed, who saved my life for no reason except that she could." He stepped closer. "Do you understand what you have done?" "I helped someone who needed help," Yuna said. "That's all, no." Roth shook his head. "You did something impossible. Something my people believed could not exist. You showed kindness to a stranger. True kindness. Without expecting anything in return." "I don't want anything from you," Yuna said. "Really, you're free. You can go wherever you want. You don't owe me anything. You are wrong." Roth placed his hand over his chest. It was a gesture that looked formal, ancient. "I owe you everything, and I will repay it." This is my oath. Yuna stood up. I told you, I don't need. What do you need? Roth interrupted. Tell me, what do you need to survive? To be safe? To be free from your debt? Yuna opened her mouth. Then she closed it. No one had ever asked her that before. No one had ever cared what she needed. Money, she said finally. I need money. A lot of it. More than I can ever get from Salvage. Then we will get you money. It's not that simple. The people I owe, they're dangerous. They have connections everywhere. Even if I pay them, they might not let me go. Roth smiled. It was the first time she had seen him smile. It was terrifying. I am the last Valkyrie warrior, he said. I have connections too. Old ones, hidden ones. Things that have been waiting for me for 300 years. He walked to the control panel and looked at the star maps. His eyes scanned the systems, the trade routes, the major stations. We will start small, he said. Legal work, protection jobs, cargo runs. You have a ship. I have skills. Together we can earn what you need. And then what? Yuna asked. After I pay my debt? What will you do? Roth was quiet for a moment. I do not know. My people are dead. My war is over. Everything I knew is gone. I have no purpose anymore. He looked at her. Except you. For now, you are my purpose. Keeping you alive. Keeping you safe. Paying my debt. Yuna felt something strange in her chest. It took her a moment to recognize it. It was warmth. The warmth of not being alone anymore. I still think you're crazy, she said. Following me around. A salvage pilot in a broken ship. There are better things you could do. Like what? I don't know. Conquering a planet? Starting a war? Something more, you. Roth walked back to her. He lowered himself, bending his knees until his eyes were level with hers. Up close, she could see the details of his face. The small lines around his eyes. The way his jaw clenched slightly. I have conquered planets, he said. I have started wars. I have done everything a warrior can do. And it brought me nothing but pain. Nothing but loneliness. Nothing but centuries of empty sleep, waiting for death. He reached out and touched her shoulder. His hand was huge, but his touch was gentle. Then, a small human found me in the darkness. She could have left me. She could have taken what she needed and gone. But she did not. She saw me dying, and she chose to help. His voice softened. That is worth more than all the planets I have conquered. That is worth more than all the wars I have won. You gave me something I never thought I would have again. What? Yuna whispered. Hope. They stood there in silence. Outside the window, stars burned in the darkness. The nebula swirled in colors of purple and gray. Fine, Yuna said finally. You can stay. But there are rules? Rules? Yes. First, you don't kill anyone unless you absolutely have to. I'm not running around the galaxy with a murderer. Roth nodded slowly. Acceptable. Second, you help with the ship. Cleaning, repairs, everything. I'm not your servant. I would not expect you to be. Third, Yuna paused. Third, you talk to me. Not like a warrior talking to a whatever. Like a person. Like a friend. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it as equals. Roth was quiet. Something shifted in his golden eyes. Something soft and surprised. Friends, he repeated, like he was tasting the word. I have not had a friend in a very long time. Well, you have one now. Whether you like it or not. Roth stood up. He looked down at her. This small human who had no idea what she was getting into. This brave, foolish, kind creature who had changed his life without even trying. I think I will like it, he said. I think I will like it very much. Yuna smiled. It was the first real smile she had worn in months. Maybe years. Good, she said. Now help me plot a course out of this nebula. We have work to do. She sat down in the pilot's chair. After a moment, Roth sat in the co-pilot's seat beside her. It was too small for him. His knees pressed against the console. He looked ridiculous. He did not seem to mind. Where are we going? He asked. Station 47. It's a trade hub about 2 days from here. We can find war. Word traveled fast in space. Yuna learned this 3 weeks after leaving the Ash Nebula. They were docked at Station 47, a busy trading hub filled with ships from 100 different worlds. She had just finished selling some salvage parts when she noticed people staring. Not at her. At Roth. He stood beside her, towering over the crowd. He had covered himself with a long cloak, but it did not help much. He was too tall, too big, too different. We should go, Yuna said quietly. Roth nodded. They walked back toward the docking bay, moving through the crowded streets. Yuna kept her head down. Roth kept his hand near the blade hidden under his cloak. They were almost at the ship when someone stepped in front of them. It was a thin creature with pale skin and 3 eyes. A broker. Yuna had seen his type before. They bought and sold information. Valkyrie, the broker said, looking at Roth. Everyone thought your kind was dead. Move, Roth said. His voice was cold. Oh, I will. But first, I wanted you to know something. The broker smiled. It was not a friendly smile. There's a bounty on you now. A big one. Everyone in the sector knows about the Valkyrie who woke up in the Ash Nebula. Yuna's blood went cold. Who put out the bounty? Does it matter? Collectors, warlords, scientists who want to study him. Everyone wants a piece of the last Valkyrie. The broker looked at Yuna with pity. You should leave him human, before you get caught in the crossfire. Roth moved. It was so fast that Yuna barely saw it. One moment the broker was standing there. The next moment Roth had him by the throat, lifted off the ground. If anyone comes for her, Roth said softly, I will find them. I will find their families. I will find everyone they have ever loved. And I will make them wish they had never been born. Do you understand? The broker nodded, his 3 eyes wide with terror. Roth dropped him. Tell everyone. Spread the word. The human is under my protection. Anyone who touches her dies. They walked away. The broker did not follow. Back on the Wanderer, Yuna sat in the pilot's chair and tried to stop her hands from shaking. Roth stood by the door, watching her. I am sorry, he said. This is my fault. I should have known they would find out. It's not your fault. Yuna took a deep breath. We just need to be careful. Keep moving. Stay ahead of them. For how long? The bounty will only grow. More hunters will come. Then we deal with them. Yuna looked at him. Together. Roth was quiet. You should leave me. The broker was right. I am putting you in danger. No. Yuna, no. She stood up and walked toward him. I spent 6 years alone. 6 years with no one to talk to. No one to care about. No one to care about me. And now I have you. I'm not giving that up because some idiots want to collect a bounty. Roth looked down at her. His golden eyes were soft. You are very stubborn. I know. It will get you killed. Probably. Yuna shrugged. But not today. Today we run. She went back to the control panel and started plotting a course. Roth watched her for a moment. Then he sat down in the co-pilot's seat. Where are we going? He asked. Outer Rim. There's a system I know. Quiet. Not many people. We can hide there for a while. Roth nodded. And after? After, We figure out who put out the bounty, and we make them regret it. The Wanderer lifted off from Station 47. They flew out into the darkness of space, leaving the lights of the station behind. They traveled for 3 days. Una slept in shifts, always keeping one eye on the scanner. Roth did not sleep at all. He said he had slept enough for several lifetimes. On the 4th day, the scanner started beeping. "Ships," Una said. 3 of them. Coming fast. Roth stood up and looked at the screen. Raiders. I recognize the design. They work for the highest bidder. Can we outrun them? No. Roth's voice was calm. They are faster than us. They will catch us in 20 minutes. Una's mind raced. Can we fight them? I can. But I need them to board us. My skills are not useful in a ship battle. Una understood. Roth was a warrior, not a pilot. He needed to be close to his enemies. Okay, she said. Okay, here's what we do. I'll let them catch us. Pretend to surrender. When they board, you do what you do. They might kill you first. They won't. They want you alive. I'm just a pilot. Una gave him a small smile. Besides, I have faith in you. Roth looked at her strangely. Faith? Yes, I believe you can protect me. I believe you'll keep me safe. She put her hand on his arm. I trust you, Roth. Something shifted in Roth's eyes. Something deep and powerful. He had been called many things in his long life. Monster, killer, demon, but no one had ever said they trusted him. I will not let them touch you, he said. I swear it. The raider ships caught up with them an hour later. They surrounded the Wanderer, weapons pointed at the small salvage ship. A voice came through the radio. Salvage vessel, power down your engines. Prepare to be boarded. Any resistance, and we will destroy you. Una looked at Roth. He had moved to the back of the ship, hidden in the shadows. His cloak was off. She could see his true form now. The muscles under his dark blue skin. The scars that covered his body. The blade in his hand, curved and black, made from some metal she did not recognize. He nodded. Una pressed the radio button. This is the Wanderer. We surrender. Please, don't shoot. She made her voice sound scared. It was not hard. She was scared. The raiders docked with her ship. She heard the airlock opening. Heavy footsteps on metal. Then the door to the main room opened. 12 raiders walked in. They were big, covered in armor, carrying weapons. Their leader was a tall creature with red skin and 4 arms. He looked at Una and smiled. Where's the Valkyrie? He asked. Una pointed toward the back of the ship. There. He's hiding. Please, just take him and leave me alone. The leader laughed. We'll take him, but we won't leave you alone. Our employer wants anyone who helped the Valkyrie. Something about making examples. Una's heart sank. She had hoped they would ignore her. She had been wrong. The leader raised his weapon. Nothing personal, human. Just business. And then Roth moved. It was like watching lightning strike. One moment, he was in the shadows. The next moment, he was in the middle of the raiders, his blade singing through the air. The first 3 died before they knew what was happening. Roth's blade cut through their armor like it was paper. Blood sprayed across the walls. The raiders turned and fired. Their weapons filled the air with light and noise. But Roth was not there anymore. He had moved impossibly fast, appearing behind 2 more raiders. They fell, their heads separated from their bodies. Una pressed herself against the wall. She had never seen anything like this. Roth was not fighting. He was dancing. Every movement was perfect. Every strike was fatal. He flowed through the raiders like water through stones. 6 dead. 7. 8. The remaining 4 tried to run. Roth did not let them. In less than a minute, 12 armed raiders lay dead on the floor of the Wanderer. Roth stood in the middle of them, his blade dripping with blood. He was not even breathing hard. He turned to Yuna. His golden eyes were burning with something ancient and terrible. For a moment, she was afraid. Truly afraid. Then the light in his eyes softened. He walked toward her, stepping over the bodies like they were not there. "Are you hurt?" he asked. Yuna shook her head. She could not speak. Roth looked down at himself. He was covered in blood. None of it was his. "I am sorry you had to see that," he said quietly. "I know it was violent." Yuna found her voice. "You saved my life." All 12 of them. In under a minute. Yes, that was. She searched for the right word. Amazing. Roth looked surprised. Most people would say, terrifying. That too. Yuna laughed. It was a strange sound, mixed with relief and shock. But mostly amazing. I've never seen anyone move like that. Roth tilted his head, studying her. "You are not afraid of me?" Yuna thought about it. "I'm afraid of what you can do. I'm afraid of what you can do. But I'm not afraid of you." There's a difference. Is there? Yes, you could have killed me 100 times by now. You haven't. You won't. I know that. She pushed herself off the wall and walked toward him. "Give me your hand." Roth held out his hand. It was covered in blood. Yuna took it anyway. "You have blood on your face," she said. "I know. There's a cleaning unit in the back. Go wash up. I'll deal with this." She looked at the bodies. "I can dispose of them," Roth offered. "No, I need to check if they have anything useful. Information, credits, anything that tells us who hired them." Roth nodded slowly. He started to turn away. Then he stopped. "Yuna." "Yes?" "Thank you. For not being afraid. For trusting me." He paused. "No one has ever done that before." Yuna smiled. "Get used to it. You're stuck with me now." Roth made that sound again. The one that might have been a laugh. Then he walked to the back of the ship to clean himself. Yuna stood alone in the room full of dead raiders. She should have been horrified. She should have been sick. But all she felt was gratitude. She had made the right choice. Saving Roth, trusting him, believing in him. He was dangerous. He was deadly. He was the most terrifying thing she had ever seen. But he was also hers. Her protector. Her friend. And the galaxy would learn what that meant. She started searching the bodies. She found credits, weapons, a communication device. She found a message on the device, encrypted, but not well. With a few hours of work, she decoded it woe a place T. The message was short. It named Roth as the target. It named her as collateral. And it named a price. 10 million credits for Roth alive, 1 million for proof of her death. At the bottom of the message was a name. The person they found shelter on a moon called Pale Harbor. It was a small place, far from the main trade routes. A mining colony that had been abandoned 50 years ago. Now only a few hundred people lived there, traders and smugglers and others who did not want to be found. Yuna rented a small building near the edge of the settlement. It had 2 rooms, a kitchen, and a window that looked out at the gray sky. It was not much, but it was safe. For now, Roth spent the first few days learning about the new galaxy. 300 years was a long time. Everything had changed. The empires he had known were gone. New powers had risen. Old enemies had become allies. Old allies had become dust. He sat in the corner of their small home, reading everything he could find on the Galactic network. His golden eyes moved back and forth across the screen. taking in centuries of history in a matter of days. Una watched him sometimes. She had never seen anyone read so fast. Do you understand all of that? She asked one evening. Roth looked up. Most of it. Some of the languages have changed. Some of the concepts are new to me. Like what? Democracy. He said the word like he was testing it. In my time, power belonged to the strong. The idea that everyone should have a voice. It is strange. Good strange or bad strange? Roth thought about it. I do not know yet. Ask me in another 100 years. Una smiled. I won't be around in another 100 years, I know. Something sad passed through Roth's eyes. Humans live such short lives. It is one of the things I have had to learn. Does that bother you? Yes. Roth set down the reading device. My people live for thousands of years. We watch civilizations rise and fall like seasons. We had time for everything. But you have so little time. Every moment matters. Is that bad? No. It is different. You burn brighter because you burn faster. You feel more because you have less time to feel. He looked at her. It is why you are so kind, I think. You understand loss in a way my people never did. Una sat down across from him. Tell me about your people. The Valkyrie. What were they really like? Roth was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was soft. We were warriors. That is what everyone remembers. We fought wars that lasted centuries. We conquered systems. We destroyed those who stood against us. He paused. But that is not all we were. What else? We were artists. We carved mountains into sculptures that could be seen from space. We wrote songs that took years to perform. We loved deeply, passionately, forever. When a Valkyrie found their partner, they stayed together until death. And even then, they would wait in the afterlife. Una felt something catch in her throat. That sounds beautiful. It was. But the wars destroyed it. One by one, we lost everything that made us who we were. We became only warriors. Only killers. By the end, we had forgotten how to be anything else. What happened? In the end? Roth's eyes grew distant. The Great War. That is what we called it. We fought against an alliance of 7 species. They feared us. They wanted us gone. And we were too proud to surrender. Too proud to change. Who won? No one? Roth's voice was bitter. We destroyed them. They destroyed us. By the time it was over, there was nothing left. Empty worlds. Dead stars. A galaxy full of ghosts. He looked down at his hands. I was the last one standing. The last Valkyrie warrior. I watched my people die, one by one, until I was alone. Then I found the stasis pod on my ship. I set it to keep me alive. And I went to sleep, hoping for what? I do not know. Death, maybe. An end to the pain. He looked up at her. I did not expect to wake up. I did not expect to find someone like you. Una reached out and took his hand. It was large and rough, covered in scars. But it was warm. I'm glad you did wake up, she said. I'm glad I found you. Why? Roth asked. I am a monster. You have seen what I can do. You have seen the blood on my hands. Why do you not fear me like everyone else? Una thought about the question. She had asked herself the same thing many times. Because I see more than the monster, she said finally. I see someone who is hurting. Someone who lost everything. Someone who has been alone for so long, they forgot what it feels like to be loved. Roth flinched at the word. Loved? Yes. Una squeezed his hand. I don't know what this is between us. I don't have a name for it. But I know I care about you. I know I want you to be happy. I know I would do anything to protect you, just like you would protect me. That is. Roth struggled for words. That is more than I deserve. That's not how it works. We don't get what we deserve. We get what we give. Una smiled. You gave me hope when I had none. You gave me strength when I was weak. You gave me a friend when I was alone. Now I'm giving it back to you. Roth stared at her. In 3,000 years of life, no one had ever spoken to him like this. No one had ever looked past the warrior, past the killer, past the monster. No one had ever seen him dot until now. In my language, he said quietly, there is a word. Kethril. It means the one who sees you, the one who knows your heart, the one who accepts everything you are, light and dark, and loves you anyway. And what does that mean? To be someone's Kethril? It means you are bound together, not by duty or debt, by choice, by something deeper than blood or battle. He looked at their joined hands. Among my people, to call someone Kethril was the greatest honor. It meant they had found their other half. Una felt her heart beating faster. Are you saying? I am saying that I understand now. Roth lifted his eyes to hers. I understand why my ancestors marked your species for observation. I understand why they watched you from afar, century after century. Why? Because you are different. Not stronger, not smarter, not more powerful, but different in a way that matters. He touched her face with his free hand, gentle as a whisper. You see possibilities where others see only what is. You offer kindness when others offer nothing. You believe in people who have stopped believing in themselves. That's just being human, Una said softly. No, that is being rare. In all my years, in all the species I have known, I have never seen anything like humanity. Roth's golden eyes burned with intensity. You could have left me to die. Any other species would have. But you did not. You saw a monster, and you chose to see a person instead. Because you are a person. Many would disagree. Then they're wrong. Una lifted her chin. I don't care what you've done. I don't care how many people you've killed. I care about who you are now. Who you're becoming. And that person is worth saving. Roth was silent for a long time. When he spoke, his voice cracked. You truly believe that? Yes. Even though I have given you no reason to. You've given me every reason to. Una stood up and pulled him with her. Come on, I want to show you something. She led him outside. The gray sky of Pale Harbor stretched above them. In the distance, the old mining equipment stood like skeletons against the horizon, but above them, through the thin atmosphere, stars were visible. Millions of them. Millions. A galaxy spread out like diamonds on black cloth. Look up, Una said. Roth looked. When I was a little girl, Una said, my mother used to tell me that every star was a wish. That when people died, their dreams turned into light and floated up into the sky. She said that if I looked hard enough, I could see the wishes of everyone who ever lived. A beautiful story. It is. It is. And I know it's not true. Stars are just balls of burning gas. There's nothing magical about them. Una paused. But I still look up sometimes. I still imagine all those wishes floating in the darkness. All those dreams that never came true. Why are you telling me this? Una turned to face him. Because your people are up there, Roth. All their dreams. All their hopes. Everything they were and everything they wanted to be. You carry that with you. You're the last one who remembers them. Roth looked at the stars. His eyes glistened. And that means something, Una continued. It means their story isn't over. It means you can give their dreams a new ending. Not just war and death and destruction. Something better. Something they would be proud of. How? I do not know how to be anything other than what I am. Yes, you do. Yuna took both his hands. You already started. Every time you protect someone instead of hurting them. Every time you choose peace instead of violence. Every time you show kindness to a scared little salvage pilot who doesn't know what she's doing. Roth laughed. It was a real laugh, not the dry sound from before. A warm, surprising sound that made Yuna's heart swell. Scared little salvage pilot, he repeated. You are the bravest person I have ever met. I'm terrified constantly. That is what makes you brave. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to act despite it. They stood together under the stars. Two lost souls who had found each other in the darkness. A human and a Volcari. A salvage pilot and a warrior. And somewhere in the space between them, something shifted. Something grew. Something that had not existed before. Roth, Yuna said. Yes? When this is over. When we deal with the Syndicate. When we're safe. She took a breath. Stay with me. Not because of the debt. Not because of your oath. Because you want to. Roth looked at her. His golden eyes were soft and warm. I would stay anyway, he said. Even if you told me to leave. Even if you hated me. The Syndicate fleet arrived at Pale Harbor on a Tuesday. Yuna counted the ships from the window of their small home. 12 warships. 50 fighters. Enough firepower to destroy the entire moon. Wow, she said. They're not messing around. Roth stood beside her, his golden eyes tracking the ships as they took position in orbit. He had known this day would come. They both had. They sent a message, Yuna said. Came through on the open channel. Everyone on the moon heard it. What did it say? They want you. Alive. They're giving us 1 hour to surrender. If we don't, they'll bomb the settlement. She paused. They said if I give you up, they'll let me live. Roth turned to look at her. Will you? Yuna laughed. What do you think? I think you are very stubborn. Damn right I am. She walked away from the window and started gathering her things. A bag, some tools, the small gun she always carried. So, what's the plan? Roth watched her. You should leave. Take your ship. Fly away. I will handle the Syndicate alone. No. Yuna. No. She spun around to face him. We've had this conversation before. You're not getting rid of me. We're in this together, remember? Kethro. Forever. Roth's expression softened. They will kill you. Then I'll die fighting. Better than dying alone. She slung the bag over her shoulder. Now stop arguing and tell me the plan. I know you have one. You always have one. Roth was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. There is a communication tower on the east side of the settlement. If we can reach it, I can broadcast a message. Something that might change everything. What kind of message? 300 years ago, before the war ended, I hid something. A weapon. Not a physical weapon. Information. Secrets that the Syndicate would do anything to keep hidden. Yuna's eyes widened. What kind of secrets? The Syndicate did not become powerful by accident. They made deals with many species. Betrayed many allies. There are records, evidence. Things that could bring them down if the galaxy knew the truth. And you have these records? I helped create them. Roth's voice was hard. In my time, the Volcari were hired by the Syndicate to do their dirty work. We were their blade in the darkness. We saw everything. And I remembered everything. Yuna felt a chill run down her spine. So, if we broadcast this information, the Syndicate loses their power. Their allies turn against them. Their enemies unite against them. They fall. Why didn't you do this before? Because I did not care. My people were dead. The galaxy could burn for all I cared. But now, he looked at her. Now I have something worth protecting. Something worth fighting for. Yuna took a breath. Okay, communication tower. East side. How do we get there without being killed? We go now. Before they land their ground forces. They will expect us to wait to hide, to try to negotiate. We will do the opposite. Run toward the danger. Classic. Roth smiled the terrible smile. You are learning. They left the house together. The streets of Pale Harbor were empty. Everyone was hiding, waiting to see what would happen. The sky above was dark with the shadows of syndicate ships. They moved fast, staying close to buildings, using the abandoned mining equipment for cover. Roth led the way. He seemed to know exactly where to go, even though he had only been on this moon for a few weeks. How do you remember all this? Yuna asked as they ran. I walked the settlement every night while you slept. I memorized every street, every building, every escape route. Why? Because I knew this day would come, and I wanted to be ready. They were halfway to the tower when the first shuttle landed. Syndicate soldiers poured out, their weapons drawn. There were at least 100 of them. Roth pushed Yuna behind a pile of mining debris. Stay here. I will clear a path. Roth, there are too many. But he was already gone. Yuna watched from her hiding spot as Roth walked toward the soldiers. He moved slowly, calmly, like he had all the time in the world. His blade hung at his side. The soldiers saw him. They raised their weapons. Valkyrie, one of them shouted. Surrender now, and you will not be harmed. Roth kept walking. This is your final warning. Stop or we will fire. Roth stopped. He was 20 feet from the nearest soldier. I am Roth, he said. His voice carried across the empty street. Last of the Valkyrie. I have killed more beings than you can count. I have destroyed empires. I have ended wars. And I am not here to surrender. The soldiers looked at each other. Some of them took steps backward. I am here to give you a choice, Roth continued. Walk away. Leave this moon. Go back to your masters and tell them that the Valkyrie sends a message. What message? The soldier in front asked. His voice was shaking. Roth raised his blade. It caught the light of the distant sun. Run! They fired. And Roth became a storm. Yuna had seen him fight before. She had watched him kill 12 raiders in under a minute. But this was different. This was war. He moved through the soldiers like water through sand. His blade was everywhere at once. Blood filled the air. Screams echoed off the buildings. Soldiers fell. 5, 10, 20. They tried to shoot him, but he was never where they aimed. They tried to run, but he was faster. They tried to fight, but they were children compared to him. In 3 minutes, 100 soldiers lay dead. Roth stood in the middle of the carnage. His chest was heaving. Blood dripped from his blade, from his hands, from his face. His golden eyes burned like fire. He turned to Yuna. Come, we must hurry. She ran to him. She tried not to look at the bodies. She tried not to think about what she had just seen. Are you hurt? She asked. No, Roth took her hand. They were not warriors. They were tools. The real fight is still coming. They ran. The communication tower was close now. Yuna could see it rising above the other buildings, a metal spire reaching toward the sky. But the syndicate had seen the slaughter. More shuttles were landing. More soldiers were coming. And something else. A ship descended from orbit. It was different from the others. Smaller. Sleeker. It landed between them and the tower. The door opened. A figure stepped out. He was tall. Not as tall as Roth, but close. His skin was pale, almost white. His eyes were red, like blood. He wore armor that seemed to absorb the light. Valkyrie, the figure said. At last. Roth stopped. His grip on Yuna's hand tightened. Kos, he said. I should have known. You remember me. I'm touched. Yuna looked at Roth. Who is this? He was my student. 300 years ago. I trained him, taught him everything I knew, and then you abandoned me. Kos's voice was cold. Left me to die in the war. I had to claw my way out of the ruins. I had to become something new, something stronger. You became a tool of the Syndicate. I became their blade. Just as you were. Just as all warriors are. Kos drew his weapon. It was a curved sword, similar to Roth's. Now the Syndicate wants you. Alive, preferably. But I convinced them to let me have a chance first. A chance at what? Revenge. Kos smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. I have waited 300 years for this. I will finally prove that the student has surpassed the master. Roth pushed Yuna behind him. Get to the tower. Do what we planned. I'm not leaving you. Yuna, listen to me. He turned to look at her. His golden eyes were soft, gentle, nothing like the burning fury from before. This is my fight. Let me fight it. Get to the tower. Broadcast the information. End the Syndicate. And what about you? I will find you. I promise. He touched her face. I will always find you. Tears filled Yuna's eyes. Roth, go, now. She ran. She did not look back. She could not. Behind her, she heard the clash of blades. She heard shouts and screams and sounds she could not name. But she kept running. The tower was ahead. The door was locked, but she forced it open. Inside was a control room filled with dusty equipment. She found the communication panel and started working. Her hands were shaking. She could barely see through her tears. But she kept working. The information Roth had given her was stored on a small chip. He had made it weeks ago, preparing for this moment. She inserted it in the panel and started the broadcast. The system hummed to life. A light turned green. Broadcasting, the computer said. Signal strong, reaching all sectors. Yuna collapsed against the wall. She had done it. The secrets were out. The galaxy would know what the Syndicate had done. But Roth was still out there, fighting, maybe dying. She stood up and ran outside. The fight was over. Roth knelt in the middle of the street. His blade was broken. His body was covered in wounds. Blood pooled around him. Kos stood above him, sword raised for the final blow. No! Yuna screamed. She raised her small gun. She fired. The shot hit Kos in the shoulder. He stumbled. He turned to look at her, his red eyes burning with rage. Foolish human, he snarled. You will die for that. He started walking toward her. And Roth moved. Even broken, even bleeding, even dying, he moved. He grabbed the piece of his shattered blade and drove it into Kos's back. Kos screamed. He spun around. Roth was already standing, his fist catching Kos across the face. They fought. It was ugly and desperate, and nothing like the graceful battle from before. But Roth kept going. Hit after hit. Blow after blow. He would not stop. Finally, with one last strike, Roth drove Kos to the ground. He stood over his former student, breathing hard, barely alive. You taught me well, Kos whispered. But you forgot one thing. What?